Hello Internet, and today's video is going to be It's a Winter Wonderland, the tag. I was tagged by Read and Find Out. I will link her down below, so go check out her take on this tag, and I'm glad that I got tagged in a tag, so let's get into it. Question number 1 was snow and ice. White, blue, purple colors on your cover. Now, I don't have many wintry book covers, but I have one that I think fits. So while this book doesn't have anything purpley in it, I'm going with Frederick Backman's Beartown because it does have snow and it's a book about hockey and surprisingly enough also about rape culture, and I didn't expect that, but it is really, really good. So I suggest if you want like a really great take on rape culture, its dangers, like sort of like how it affects a whole community, read this. But it does take place during hockey season, and on this cover it's just like ice and snow and people bundled up. So I think that fits even if it's not purple and it's more like blue and green. It's still snow and ice. Like there's literally snow and ice on the cover. Question number 2. A warm fire, a book that you would love to curl up with. For this question, I am going with a manga. This is a series called Skip Beat by Yoshi Kimura. This is a continuing series. I started this when I was like 9. And it's still going. I don't know why, but it's still going on. I kind of wish it'd wrap it up so I could see Ren and Kyoko together. I think that's her name. I'm not quite sure. I didn't look it up. I think that's how I've always pronounced her name, even if that's wrong. But yeah, this is a manga series about a girl. She doesn't really have like a lot of adventurous spirit until something bad happens and she gets betrayed by one of her childhood best friends. So she decides in order to get revenge, she is going to outbeat him by being the most famous person in Japan. Her best friend is currently this really famous musician, so she decides she's going to go into the talent industry as well, and she ends up getting picked up as an actress, and it's her struggle to become the greatest actress ever. She ends up making a lot of great friends, meeting a lot of great actors. She's a stunning actress, and I like this series so much. I think for some reason, I just really like manga series about acting. I think if it wasn't Skip Beat, it would be Glass Mask, which is another manga about acting. I don't know why, but like I love reading manga when I'm like wanting to curl up with something because it's just so fun and enjoyable. Question number 3, Hot Chocolate, a book that is sweet and heartwarming. I'm going to go for The Sandwich Thief by Andre Mercos and Patrick Dion. This is a little graphic novel about a young boy and his lunch keeps getting stolen when his back is turned. He gets like these magnificent sandwiches and he wants to know who's stealing his sandwiches. I just love it. It's so cute. It's so adorable. You can't help but grin watching how like affronted this boy is that his food's getting stolen, that these things are happening to him, and like how serious he is about catching the perpetrator. Like you're just gonna love it. It's so much fun. I can't help but like smile every time I read this, and it's great. Everyone should read this if you want a good time and to smile. Question number 4, Frosty the Snowman, a character you wish would come to life. For this, I'm going with His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik Tamaran. Tamaran is this dragon in it because this whole series is like taking place during the Napoleonic Wars, but dragons are involved, so like dragons are used as part of the armies across the world, and a naval officer ends up being bonded to a dragon called Tamaran, and they become really good friends, and I just love Tamaran. I wish he was alive so that I could have a great dragon friend because I just really want a dragon for a friend. It's been a lifelong goal and dream of mine. And like, I know that's not a traditional answer, but you just said a character. You didn't have to say that it had to be a human character, so Tamaran all the way. Question number 5, Snowflakes, a truly unique book. I don't even think a lot of you who regularly watch me are going to be surprised by my answer. The Tiger's Daughter by K. Arsena Rivera. Have I mentioned how much I love this book and I wish there was more books like this? Not only does this book take place in ancient Asia, discussing Mongol culture and like Chinese, Japanese culture and like how all of this works out. I don't see a lot of books that are novels talking about Mongolian culture and like Mongolian tribes and all sorts of stuff, and I've always been interested in Mongolian history and just like how their tribes function and all of the great things like that Mongolians have like put into our lives that people just don't realize. Like, they created the postal system. I think we kind of need that because I need that to get my books. Like, they're very essential to my life. So I like this book because it just explores a part of history I really don't see explored in novels, while also having the main story and lead characters be in a romantic relationship, both of them being badass warrior women. And I don't see a lot of female-female relationships be romantically portrayed in a fantasy, and that be a large portion of this book. Outside of them just doing this epic adventure stuff, we're seeing the epic tale of their lives. We're also seeing their epic romance and how dedicated they are to each other, and that's just not something that I see often when it comes to fantasy. So I want to see more of it. I want to see more books that take place in like Mongolian traditions and just explore more of that novelty, because I just like to see it. So this is my snowflake of a book. It's honestly unique. Question number 6, Blizzard. A book that you were blown away by. We don't really get blizzards where I am. We get like rain. It's been raining a lot, so that's a thing. But a book I was blown away by. For this, I'm going to have to go with Echo by Pam Munoz-Ryan. Oh my gosh, like, I don't even like historical fiction. I've mentioned this most of the time. When it comes to historical fiction, I can read it, I can appreciate it, but it just rubs me the wrong way, and I can't like fully explain why and have it make sense, but just let it be known. But this book, oh, it was 5 stars. Like, every moment of this I loved. It just blew my mind. I did not know what I was expecting. I bought it because it looked pretty, because I had seen it maybe on like someone's video randomly when I was trolling BookTube. And read the audiobook, because this book follows around a harmonica as it travels between 3 different people, and we get to hear the lives and stories of these 3 different children and how this harmonica has affected them in some way and is passed along. If you read the audiobook, you actually get to hear the harmonica music that's being played, that these kids are playing, that they're listening to, and just all of that sort of stuff. So it really adds into the story, creating even a greater atmosphere, because you're not just like, oh, they're playing a lullaby, and you're just like, well, that's cool, but you're hearing the lullaby they're playing, you're hearing all this beautiful music, you're hearing like why it's affecting them the way it is, and like all this sort of stuff. So definitely read the audiobook. You will not be disappointed. Just 5 out of 5 stars. I can't say enough. Like, this just blew me away. I left this book just like in tears by how beautifully done it was. Like, oh my gosh, it was so good. I'm going to warn you, like, it's a little bit confusing in the end when they're trying to introduce the harmonica, but once it gets into like the main grunt of the story after those first few pages, and we get to see these 3 characters and their lives, you're gonna be there for that. Definitely pick up this book, listen to it on audio. You will not be disappointed. And if you are, you just don't have a heart. I'm sorry. Like, this book is great. Question number 7. Penguin, a book with a very cute animal character. For this, I'm going to go with the cat from Neil Gaiman's Coraline. So if anyone's watched the movie Coraline, which I'm assuming a majority of people have, this is about a young girl who finds a secret door that leads to another world that has another mother who's very menacing. It turns out the cat in her neighborhood can also travel between these 2 realms. The cat, when in the other realm, can talk to Coraline, and this cat's just really snarky and snooty, and I love him. I love this cat. And it's so cute. Like, in my mind, I just want my animals to also be sarcastic. And that's kind of why I like cats, because I feel like cats are like really snooty, and for some reason that like highly amuses me. So I like this animal because it's the best. Question number 8. icicles. They look pretty, they look nice, but are extremely hazardous to the health. This shit of a book. Tender Morsels by Margot Lagon. I have a whole video that I filmed just of me just like ranting about this. I don't even know if it makes sense. It's really long. I still have to edit it. Basically, this book is trash. All of the messages, garbage. And like, I didn't mind that it was dark. I didn't mind that it had really, really dark themes, that it had really, really gritty, horrible stuff happening. Like, that isn't what got me. It was the messages of this book, which were basically saying that the mother was somehow abusing her daughters by trying to give them a better life where they would be free from rapey men, that the only way you're going to get a happy ending is by remaining ignorant of all the evils in the world, because the women who understand and realize the evil of the world will suffer for the rest of eternity and they won't get a happy ending. And then a mother does not deserve love outside of her children, especially if she has suffered. Like, she doesn't get a husband because who could love her outside of her children? And also this sort of message that children are created for their mothers to love them, for them to love their mothers, because who else would love this woman? Like, I'm just getting angry looking at this book. Like, this is a book I keep around just so that I can hate it, and because I never want anyone else to read this book because it's such fucking garbage. Question number 9. Ice Skating, a book about childhood friends. Now, I don't read a lot of books about childhood friends, like, or at least what I assume to be childhood friends, like friends that have been together since childhood and it's like talking about their lives together, not just that they just became friends. I guess like I could say Harry Potter, but that's just such a standard answer. So I'm going to give you another one. This is going to go to The Girl at Midnight by Melissa Gray. In this, we get to see like two factions at war, but we get to see the main character and her childhood friends and like their interactions and how they are dealing with this war between two different species and how they mix in between it. So I guess this is technically a book about childhood friends in the sense that they have been friends for a really long time, so when we meet them as characters, they already have a long-lasting friendship that has been established for a really long time. I don't think most of my books have like a long-lasting friendship in which they started as friends and are now older and still friends. So I'm going with this. Question number 10, One Horse Open Sleigh, a cute couple. I don't think this couple gets mentioned a lot, but it is a couple that I really enjoy and I find super cute, and that is In the Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. The captain of the Wayfarer has this girlfriend, and she is like this certain type of beautiful alien that like everybody is in love with this species because they have like these scales that light up and are super colorful, and they talk through the use of these scales, but they have like little sound boxes that let them to speak like spoken languages as well, so they can relate to the other species around. And him and this woman, who is also a captain in her own right, are in this secret relationship because of politics and stuff with all of these things going on between the species. But I really like how their relationship works, how they're willing to like love and understand each other. They're trying to get through this as best as they can. I just find them to be a really cute couple. I like how dedicated they are to each other, even though they know that they're not going to be able to see each other a lot, that they're not going to be able to associate a lot, that not anyone can know who they are or like how they're related, or even that they're like involved in any way. But I think they're a really cute couple, so like I root for them. I root for them because they're gorgeous together. Question number 11, A Snowball Fight, a book with a lot of action. Now, I don't know how to take this because I feel like most of the books I read aren't necessarily action heavy, or at least that's not what I usually focus on. I usually focus on like the character relationships and the politics and the feelings and emotions that are going on. So I usually tend to forget action-y scenes because most of my books focus, or at least I focus more on the parts of the books that talk about like character relationships rather than like the battles that they're having against evil. But one that I really distinctly remember is from April Daniels, and this is Sovereign. This is book 2 in the Nemesis series. The first book is Dreadnought. This follows a trans girl, and she is a superhero. She fully transitioned due to her superpowers. This book focuses more on her trying to be a superhero, so she has a lot of anger issues because of just like all the things that have been happening to her lately, all of these confusing things, and now she's trying to balance her personal life with her superhero life. This focuses more on her superhero life, so there is like a lot of plots, there's a lot of like her fighting against other people and like her trying to figure out her powers and how to use them to the best of her ability. And there's just like a lot of action scenes in this book because it relates so heavily to her being a superhero, more so than the first book. So I really like the action scenes in this because I really like to see like how their superpowers worked and stuff like that. So the action scenes in this really stuck out in my mind because I kept visualizing them and seeing them and thinking, oh yeah, that looks really cool in my mind. Question number 12. Aurora Borealis, a beautiful cover. This is like a super hard question for me because I like to buy books based on their covers. Well, that's not necessarily a thing. You have to have a good cover for me to buy it. It's usually like 99% of the time I only buy books that have color covers that appeal to me in some sort of aspect. So I'm going to show you 2 books that have like 2 various sides, 2 sort of covers that I like to look at. So the first is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. So this is a book about like a girl who goes to a school for assassins. I just really like this black and white cover. I really like this paperback. I like the spine where it's like red with like these galaxy, this black with stars and stuff. It's just really beautiful to me, and I just like the simplicity of like the black, the white, these few red colors. Oh, it just stunning to me. It's stunning. Then my second pick, which fits along more of the Aurora Borealis theme of it being a very colorful book that is pretty, I'm going with Furthermore by Tahera Mafi. This is clearly like just super colorful. It's really fitting because this book has a lot to do with color and how color influences magic and vice versa. So I just really like all the pretty purples and the blushing and how it kind of like goes from dark purple to the top to a lighter purple, and just like everything about this just screams beautiful to me, and I like it as well. Now, if I really wanted to answer this question completely honestly, I would just do a bookshelf tour and like pull down every single book that I own and then tell you why some aspect of that book I find beautiful, but that's too long, especially for a tag. So we're just going to assume like these are the 2 I'm going to go for here, but let it be known that this was a really hard choice and I have a lot of really pretty books that I really enjoy. So thank you to Read and Find Out for tagging me. If any of you guys want to do this tag, feel free to do so. Like, it's a free world. I'm glad that I got to do this tag before it was officially spring, even though where I live, like I said, it rains. It does not snow. Like, we have not seen a snowflake in our time being here. I think, no, we had like one day where it snowed for like 2 seconds and then all of it went away. Like, snow does not exist where I live very often. So I'm glad I got to do this before like winter officially ends, but like I'm looking outside and I'm like, that looks like a lot of water on the ground. No snow for me. So if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue to see more, click all those bunnies down below, and goodbye, internet.